A Day in the Life of Dennis Terrell. One of the biggest things people don't realize is how important it is to pay your bills. Make sure you pay your bills on time. Make sure you do what you need to do when it comes to your bills. Because bills will always come. Every young person has said this. I can't wait to be in my own house. I can do what I want to do. Well, check this out. You can't do what you want to do if you don't pay your bills. You'll be homeless. That's facts. When you're a kid, you just think you're going to come to the house and electricity is cut on, lights is cut on. But what you don't realize, that's because your parents went to work and they paid their bills. So you got to pay your bills. You got to have a house to live in. You got to have a phone for communication. You definitely got to have food. And if you got a vehicle, you got to have a vehicle to move around. Now, if you don't have a vehicle, you can catch the bus. But even catching a bus, you still got to have a house. Got to have a roof over your head to live. That's just how it is. You got to have electricity. You got to have heat. You got to have gas. So you got to make sure your bills is paid. It's ridiculous. People don't pay their rent. They think it's important to go on vacation. I'm gonna go out of town and I'm gonna go on a trip. What about your rent? You don't pay your rent, but you go to Mexico or you go to Jamaica. What about paying your rent? That's important. You got to pay your rent. What you gonna do when you come back from vacation and you don't have a place to live? That's what it comes down to. Young people, if you want to live on your own, you got to learn how to pay bills. Then if you living with somebody, don't think you're going to live with somebody for free. It's nowhere in life you can live for free. That's just the bottom line. So you got to have a place to stay. So if somebody is nice enough to let you stay with them, give them some money in the bill. Help put food in the house. These are basic courtesies you should have if you're living with a person. If they give you a room to stay in, make sure your room is clean. Don't just live with a person and you don't want to follow no rules or regulations, or you feel you don't got to give them no money. You're just going to live for free. Or you live there for so long and then you're going to hurry up and move out without paying nothing. You have to pay your bills. That's the bottom line. You can't go through life without paying bills. If you do, you'll be homeless. Right now, we're in a tough time, so you definitely want to pay your bills. Okay, they tell you don't got to pay your electric bill to September the 15th. Well, guess what? You had a whole bunch of time to get money up to pay your bill. September the 15th come, and now you don't have electricity. They cut you off when you could have been constantly paying your bills. Just remember, you might put a bill on the back burner, but at the end of the day, the bill still has to be paid. So whatever you do, make sure you pay your bills. It's no way around that. You wanna make sure you have a place to stay, because living with people and people controlling you and telling you how to live, where to go, that's not no way to live. At least in your own house, you set your own rules. You set your own regulation. You set your own standards. One thing about Dennis Terrell, I make the rules where I live. Why? Because I pay the bills. You have to pay your bills. There's no way around it. When you live with people and they come up with ridiculous ways to live, it's your fault because you didn't pay your bills. Even if you have roommates, like I have a roommate, so me and him split the bills, but we both pay our bills. That's important to us. We like how we live, so we pay our bills. We don't say, oh, we ain't paying this bill or we not paying that bill, because guess what? I like electricity. Guess what? I like having heat. I like where if I got to make a phone call, I can make a phone call. Why? Because I have to pay my bills. There's no way around it. You can't get around not paying your bills. That's how it is in life. You have to pay your bills. But so many people just put stuff off and put some stuff off and be like, oh, I don't got to pay it this month. Well, guess what? Now you got to pay double next month. Get it out the way so you don't have to worry about it. It's paid for. Everything is taken care of. Why? Because you took care of it. You didn't wait till the last minute. You paid your bills. That's what's important. You got to pay your bills. You got to pay your way through life. You can't live nowhere for free in life. That's how it works. But so many people put stuff, other things first instead of paying their bills. And it don't make sense. Young people, I'd rather party or I'd rather have nice clothes. You got a whole bunch of nice clothes, but you don't have nowhere to store them because you don't have a place to live. You like driving, but you don't want to pay your car note. If you feel that way, pay cash for a car and live in your means. If you know you can't afford $1,000 worth of rent, why are you paying $1,000? You want to pay what you can afford. Look at your financial situation and look what you can afford. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. If you know you can't afford to live there, don't move there because eventually you'll get evicted. So you want to live a place that you can afford. That's what it comes down to. You want to be able to afford where you live. That's another thing when it comes to paying your bills. Get a place you can afford. Don't get a place you can't afford. Then you'll be evicted real quick. Part of paying your bills is living in your means. So many people live out of their means. They stand at home with their mama, but they got a nice car. Wouldn't it be nicer if you had your own place and then had a vehicle instead of staying with your mother or staying with your parents? It comes a point of age where you have to leave the nest. You just have to leave the nest. You can't go through life and you living under people or people making rules for you. You 40 years old and you living under somebody's rules. What sense did that make? Or you 40 or 50 living at your mama's house. That's ridiculous. You want to stand on your own. You want to live in your own place. Like they say, you want to have your own castle. So whatever you do, make sure you pay your bills. Pay everything you have to pay to get it over with. When it's due, just pay it. Don't just wait or procrastinate to pay it. Make sure you pay your bills so you can have a place to stay. It's not fun being homeless. You don't have no place to go, so you asking people to stay with them. And you can look at their face, they can tell they don't want you there, but you begging them to stay with you. That's no place to live. You don't want to live like that. You want to have your own place. You want to make sure all your bills is caught up, all your bills is paid on time, and everything is taken care of. So if you don't listen to nothing I ever tell you, if you don't listen to nothing I tell you on this YouTube channel, please listen to pay your bills. Get it over with. There's nowhere around bills. Even if you die, bills come for you. There's no escaping bills. Make sure you pay your bills. Make sure you're doing everything necessary so you can stay afloat. You got to do it so you can survive. There's no way around paying your bills. This is a day in the life of Dennis Terrell.